Back to what she said, sports. Right. Happy Friday. Happy Friday. Happy Friday. Happy Friday. All right, y'all. So, last night was fun. Great, great, great podcast episode. Great engagement. Um, you know, we closed out, by realizing that there was change. We'd seen change on a couple of different fronts. Um, but what we didn't see was what? We didn't see any first team reps. And it does seem that the rookies will be back next week. The vets seem like they don't have to come back, but the rookies will be back next week. That's what was being said, but maybe that's on their own accord, maybe the workouts, the gyms, or whatever. So we're going to see Shedeur next week. Again, what? I'm wondering if we're going to see Bucky out there, maybe getting some behind the scenes with Shedeur since official team activities are over. These are not team activities. There's just the rookies coming back. Um, and then the training camp. So the rookies keep going apparently. So I'm looking forward to that. But I will tell you, since overnight and this morning, the question is, and I see people jumping over themselves to try to answer it, or try to push you away from the real answer. I'll say it that way. Why did Shedeur not get any first team reps? Is he being singled out? Is Cleveland mishandling Shedeur? Why is the best QB, obviously the best QB, not getting first team reps? The question was, why, when it comes to ESPN's outlet in Cleveland, which I'm sure Stephen A is over all of that, why are they presenting the stats based on these, I guess the perceived or what the assigned QB rankings? They had Shedeur dead last, right? As you can see on your screen right here, what do you see? You see performance based stats ranked by performance, best to worst. That's just how it goes. Top to bottom, however you want to say it. But it's best to worst. And based on performance, Shedeur is the best QB in Cleveland. So why did the best QB not get reps? Now let's be clear about something. We knew before the last day of minicamp he was the absolute best QB they had. They knew that last Wednesday. And then we circle back around to this Wednesday. So on Thursday, at minimum, he should have been out there with first team reps. So yeah, you can hypothesize and say, they auditioning Dylan and Pickett. That they very well could be. But there was more than time for Shedeur to take first team reps. There was more than enough time for that. So the fact that ESPN Cleveland was rah rah, I want to see our guy, I want to see him get first team reps. But then they presented the stats like Shedeur's the fourth string. What did we say last week? They're treating him like he's a fourth string. So now that we see Cleveland being nice toward the end of everything, the end of camp, we see the media when Cleveland was being rude, the media was started being nice. So the media is out here, they switching up. So now that we see Cleveland being nice the last 2 days, the media who wanted to see their guy get first team reps is presenting what? The stats with Shedeur as a fourth string QB. Common sense says you ought to present stats the way you always present stats, best to worst, with the best at the top or first. I told you the media is the right hand of the NFL, and Cleveland is not acting independently. This is proof of that. I saw somebody again from this failing podcast that was probably running around the same time as my space, this failing platform, trying to explain Cleveland's handling or mishandling of Shedeur. I think if you take a poll and you ask people, is Cleveland, in your perception, based off what you've seen, mishandling Shedeur, they're going to say yes. Why? Because they insist he's a fourth string QB. And they know what you have seen. They know he's the best. Because when you rank the stats based on best performance, he's at the top. So they sticking to the script. So we don't know what we're going to see when they come back from training camp. Is he going to be in training camp? I think it's going to be hard for him not to be in training camp. There was a push to cut somebody that came and went. You know what I think they're going to do? They're going to roll out 2023. They're going to play every QB they have. That's exactly what they did in 2023. Cleveland had 5 QBs on the roster in rotation during play. 6 if you count the preseason. Flacco, DTR, Watson, PJ Walker, Brickle, Briscoe, and somebody named Mond or somebody. That's 6 QBs in play. Why can you not commit to a QB? Because you don't want to commit to who's the best? I think we get ready to see a repeat of 2023. And the reason I think we're going to see it is because they don't want to name Shedeur the starter. I told you this is about keep away. Keep away what? Keep away Shedeur from QB1. Tennessee gonna have them a time trying to hold back Cam because he let them know, I am not quiet. Out here, I love coming out here and showing them they can't F with me. Go ahead, Cam. But maybe that's what he needs because what they kicking him out the facility. Somebody you can't come early, you can't stay late, making him compete with the guy from last year. And what did he say? When they can't, imagine he a quarterback, so who else is he talking about? He's sure not talking about the defense, the offense, the receivers, and the corners, and the O line, and the defensive line, and the kicker, and the punter. Who is he talking about? The one they got him competing with, who failed already. So that means Cam know exactly what's going on, and he letting them know he knows too. I am not mad. I am not mad because that's what needs to happen. Sometimes you gotta pop out and show. Shedeur popped out and showed. I don't know what y'all think going on here, but I've been this guy. See, they wanted to say, oh, he's not that good. See, they don't want to talk about that now. They don't want to talk about that now. So you can't trust the media. You just got to look at what Cleveland's doing and what they doing. The media is either going to be the opposite so that, somebody, they can just have something to talk about. Because there's no way after ESPN Cleveland was jumping up and down. I want to see our guy get first team reps. And now, why you present his stats like that? Oh, well, they said he a four-string QB, but you know better. So why haven't you presented the way it's shown right here with some common sense? And that's why you don't see Shedeur get first team reps. Because as you can see right here, he's the best. And I can't keep him away from QB1 because that's the script. If the NFL values Shedeur Sanders at all as a prospect or as a future employee, would they have sent out his phone number to 2,000 people who did not need to know, which is essentially all 32 teams and the equipment managers, with a waiver wire attached? Shedeur new number and attach a waiver wire to it, which means no matter what team you go to, we're going to cut you. Here's a real question right here. Since the owners had clearly taken Shedeur off the board round after round after round, he descended. How did Cleveland get to draft Shedeur? Oh, he wasn't on the board. So nobody could get Shedeur, but who was told to get Shedeur? and that is Cleveland. He was not on the board, remember? They didn't put him back on the board. Cleveland, get Shedeur. Cleveland is sticking to the script. They don't even want to put him out front so you can see to exploit him because they know what's gonna happen. See, they done caught on. Oh hell, the fans they own us. They pressuring us. They ain't worried about that pressure just yet. Not yet. So it's obvious who's the best. Common sense. You rank stats by performance. If it has anything to do with performance and their stats, you rank them from best to worst. Yes, Shedeur is the best. Whoever the hell it is last, Gabriel is the worst. The person you took before Shedeur, that you valued over Shedeur, that you pivoted to after you publicly pre-draft with Shedeur, who's going to be your franchise QB at the number 2 pick in the NFL draft in 2025, is the worst. And that's why they ain't cut nobody. Because you best believe if Shedeur Sanders was actually the worst, he would not be on this team. But then again, he would be somewhere because the NFL don't want him going to Canada. And somebody was gracious enough to tell me, where is PJ Walker, the guy that was on the 2023 roster that won 2 games in a row and they pivoted to somebody else and let them play? If he won two games in a row, why would you let him keep playing? That's what you did with Flacco because they didn't want PJ to be that guy. Just like you see right now, they don't want Shedeur to be that guy. So what's going on with Shedeur in 2025 is shining the light on what the hell happened in 2023 while you went through 6 QBs, including the preseason, because you don't want to be the guy. You didn't want Watson to be the guy. He was healthy. What happened? You didn't want DTR to be the guy. That was your rookie. You drafted it. You didn't want PJ Walker to be the guy. But you wanted Flacco, the guy who was on the practice squad, who has not played a full NFL season since when? Drop it in the chat. You want him to be the guy. So you let DTR, PJ Walker, and Deshaun Watson assemble a winning record. The 3 of them rotated through 7 games and had to hand over a winning record to practice squad Joe Flacco. We immediately lost the first game. No surprise. And yes, he went on to win the other 4, but he wasn't available when they needed him the most. And did they go back to PJ Walker? Did they go back to DTR? Did they go back to Watson? If Watson was healthy? No. If DTR is taking snaps in games with Flacco, then why you didn't go back to DTR? And if you didn't think he could handle it and Watson was hurt, why you didn't go back to PJ Walker? Because he won 2 games back to back. You went to somebody who didn't play at all because you didn't want the 3 of those people, Walker, Watson, or DTR, to be the guy. Just like you don't want Shedeur to be the guy. And why the hell is that? And what the hell is the priority? I thought we was out here trying to win games and chase the damn Super Bowl. Is Cleveland mishandling Shedeur? Absolutely, unless they have a damn good reason as to why the best QB didn't take any first team reps. And is being treated like a 4th-string QB, which is that he's not. He never ever was. And when the hell did he get to be a 5th-round talent? Never. So why was he pushed to 144? See, these are the kind of questions that's going to keep coming up over and over and over until Cleveland does the right goddamn thing by Shedeur Sanders. PJ Walker is in Canada. He probably should be in the league. But they want to trade Shedeur for a guy in Detroit that hasn't played 68 damn yards in 2 damn years. So you telling me you think trading away the best person on your team to somebody with only 68 yards over 2 seasons is an even swap? What the hell? He don't need to go nowhere. He has won. Right. They said it was a competition, even though it wasn't, and he won. So he should be the starter. Cut all of this bullshit out. This is beyond foolishness. It's starting to look like what? And they already don't want to look like that. No point you bringing in Charles Woodson if you just gonna mishandle Shedeur Sanders, the best QB on your roster right now. Because why? You don't want him to be the guy. Why you don't want him to be the guy? You don't want to win, or you don't want a black quarterback to win. Which one is it? Because your job is to assemble a team based on talent to chase the damn Super Bowl, not to be out here practicing Jim Crow in 2025. So why is it Shedeur Sanders has not had first team reps? I need an answer. And I don't care what halfwit you send out here to try to come up with an excuse. It's just an excuse. What is the reason? Why is he being singled out? Why you got him ranked as your fourth string QB when you know he's your best? Putting all these black people around does not mean you are not racist, especially when it comes to the position that you covet the most, which is the quarterback position. So I don't care who you send out here. I don't care who your limited partners are. I don't care who your damn coaching staff. The position you value most is quarterback. And right now we are seeing the damn best quarterback that was in the draft after watching him be abused, discriminated against, character totally assassinated. Keep it pushing, get to Cleveland. Put at the back of the line, fourth string QB, fifth, if you count Deshaun Watson, he's not even on the damn depth chart. They want to put up this imaginary ass QB competition, which it was not. It never was. Shedeur was the best QB before he landed in Cleveland. We knew Shedeur was better than Dylan Gabriel in college. And we knew the Heisman snubbed Shedeur in college. We knew he was the best QB in the draft. Just because you say he's a fifth round QB and you lock him out of the first round and take him off the board so not nobody can get him, and then suddenly number 47 calls, and then you like, somebody got to get him. Cleveland, get him. That does not make him a fifth round QB. It makes the NFL unethical in the way that it conducts business. And we're seeing it carry out in Cleveland. And now it's exposing the 2023 season. What else is it going to expose? It might expose why Shedeur Sanders was locked out the first round. Why Shedeur Sanders, why Mike Tomlin was advised to take, let me see, Aaron Rodgers and make him QB number two. Make Shedeur Sanders QB number two behind Cleveland. Because they didn't want Shedeur Sanders to be QB one. So all you were seeing anybody do and trying to justify is keeping Shedeur Sanders away from QB one. Why? You know, people in this community know. Drop it in the chat for the people who are new. So scrambling behind the scenes to try to justify the unjustifiable is not going to work. There is no rationale for why Shedeur Sanders was the only quarterback to not get first team reps when it was this. A week ago, he was the best quarterback. So you had plenty of time to pivot, just like you did in the goddamn draft. You pivoted away from him, and you should have pivoted to him as your best QB. But you did not. And if you didn't want to change and cut anybody, cool. You want to go out there in 2025 and play all your quarterbacks, cool. Because guess what? The way he practices is the way he plays. And when he get out there on the field, he gonna be your best quarterback out there too. Because it's obvious you don't value excellence unless they black, and they gotta be excellent. But you okay with mediocrity, and you see what you want to do is put mediocrity in front of excellence, and that ain't gonna fly. Because the public done told you, they waiting for you to come back. They waiting for you to make a decision. They already done told you everybody on that roster to get the hell on out of Cleveland, but Shedeur ain't going nowhere. And we see y'all flipping to being nice. And we see the media, okay, we gonna play the bad cop. You go right the hell ahead. Because you just gonna lose your credibility. We ain't worried about you. Is Cleveland mishandling Shedeur? It seems like it. I haven't heard them give an explanation as to why he didn't take any reps. Oh, don't worry about that. No, no, no. I'm gonna need an answer. You want people to pay money, good money, to support you. You want them to use their time to watch your games, even if they are at home. But you want to sit up here and you want to mess around after you've been horrible for decades. And you got the best QB you done had in 15 years. That conversation is happening on the premises. That message is coming from within the house. And you want to still ignore it to stick to the script. The script from the draft. Y'all ain't tired? There is no rational explanation for why he has not had first round, first team reps. Even the first team want to work out with him. They won't allow that either. What you think? We don't know what we gonna see? Hell, in my opinion, he don't even need him out. You just gone out there and start him week one, he gonna be fine. Just like Jaden Daniels, just like CJ Stroud. And that's what you don't want. You don't want these young black guys coming out of college, starting year one, taking over as the majority of the starting quarterbacks in the league. That's what you don't want. See, because you knew in 2024, 15 black quarterbacks started the season. So you knew if you add Cam, Shedeur, and Milrow, that's the majority. That's why Shedeur has not taken first team reps. I want somebody to prove me wrong. That's why Cam is out here competing with the guy that failed last year, Will Levis. And that's why they don't need to talk about Milrow. I got to stop what I'm doing to go check on Milrow. But anybody that's a Michael Vick and Lamar Jackson comp shouldn't need no goddamn checking on. There should be media out there all day trying to see what's going on. Because that is exciting. See, they don't want the game to be exciting. They don't care if the game isn't exciting. They will sell you mediocrity if you're willing to buy it, as long as they get to have their preference out front. And that's all it was in New York with the Giants. And people are stepping over each other and pointing the finger and trying to find this one and that one to keep from admitting that the New York Giants were the only damn organization to assassinate Shedeur Sanders' character. And they used it in the draft. And they're using that same script in Cleveland. But you can't assassinate his character because we looking right at it. We know you lying. And you've been lying. And you never had to tell one lie. Because why? On or before February 20th, which is before the conference. The NFL does not want quarterbacks like Shedeur Sanders now. Emphasis on now. That's why Shedeur Sanders has not taken first team reps. Because the NFL knew before the combine what? An NFL insider told Mel Kiper Jr., and Mel Kiper Jr. went on ESPN and Phil Yates podcast and said, an NFL insider says, the NFL does not want quarterbacks like Shedeur Sanders now. Why? That's why he's not taking first team reps. So why they draft him? Why was he a part of their draft process? Why they just didn't say thank you, but no thank you? We're going to move forward and you won't be a part of our process. Why didn't they just say in the draft when they took him off the board, instead of just saying, take that entitled so-and-so off the board, they could have said, take that entitled, call that entitled so-and-so because we got his phone number because we gave it out to 2,000 people, use it and tell him he's no longer a part of our process. Why? Because they wanted to hurt him. Why? They don't deserve that. It was disgusting to watch. And they want to keep it up. Well, keep playing. There's no rational explanation. Only explanation that makes sense is because the NFL does not want quarterbacks like Shedeur Sanders now, and they knew it before the draft, so he should have been a part of their process. But no, they want to draft and bench, draft and destroy, draft and deny. That's what they want to do. That's evil and it's unethical. And to listen for the owners, so 32 people got together after Shedeur was interviewed by at least 4 different teams. 3 of them had glowing things to say, and only one was negative, the same one that fumbled Saquon Barkley. And that's the one they listened to because that's what they wanted to do. Just like Cleveland didn't want Shedeur to take first team reps. They want you to think he's not good. They want you to think that he's a fourth string QB. They don't really care what you think. They don't want him at QB1 and they're doing every goddamn thing to stop it. The question is the fans going to let him? Or is this about to be Target 2.0? They have not given the fans and the media not one explanation as to why he is the only quarterback singled out. The best quarterback in 15 years did not take first team reps. They ought to be fighting with each other behind closed doors. The people that have common sense and a conscience and those that are sticking to the script. Yeah, they moved Mary Catherine out the way, but that ain't enough. They already know they're going to have to deal with the fans when they get back. They got 30 days for this to stew. People don't care about nothing else but why they treating him like this. And it's on full display for everybody to see, just like in the draft. So prove me wrong. Prove that they're not playing keep away at the QB1 position for Shedeur Sanders. Prove it. I accept the challenge. Well, let's see what y'all got going on in here. How you doing? I absolutely love your show, your knowledge, your talking points. The men are biased in their approach to sports. You're special. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Salute, no recipe needed, right? Because we happy Friday. We cooking. That's right. That's right. Um, hey Amber, happy Friday. No interceptions for the other QBs. Tina said, hey, how you doing? Hado said they want to temper expectations from the media and fan base. They don't want to be able, they won't be able to control once they see him with the ones. I need to see it with ones. Maybe because I already saw him at Colorado. Said it. Doing anything different than I did in college. Oh, is it a big adjustment? See, they want the NFL to be like it's on Zenith and Mars. You got to go to space to get there, and only certain people can make it. Oh, the way you practice is the way you play. That's why all CU buffs are pro ready. Good job, Coach Prime and staff. And that conditioning they doing, oh, these guys gonna be fierce. See, one of the reasons I would go to CU, at least you got a fan base that's gonna come out for you when they start doing you wrong. You go to one of these other schools out here, they just gonna be like, next. See, you like, we're not playing about these guys. Will Shepard got an opportunity with the Broncos. I saw him take a nice pass from Bo Nix. I hope he get it. Every buff, for the most part, I think all but maybe one, unfortunately, has had an opportunity with the NFL. A door was opened. I don't know what's going on with the one, but it says a lot. It says you can get there. If you're good, you're gonna get there. And people were like, well, I mean, the Coach Prime can't get his son drafted, but his son got in. And guess what? He the best QB in 15 years. And they want to stick to the script. I don't need to see Shedeur run with the ones, but it would be nice to see. Shedeur didn't have anything to prove when he got there. And to be honest with you, he said he was just proving things to himself, and he did. That's why he stays late. He comes in early. He gonna be right there next week. He probably somewhere today. We just don't know where he is. Just like Shiloh was at a public park. Shedeur always working out at high schools. He probably gonna be up at a high school somewhere. He's been doing that. When he went to New Orleans for the Super Bowl, he worked out at St. Augustine High School. I instantly knew I'm from New Orleans. I'm like, he at St. Aug. Wow. One of the best high schools in the city. All boys. Probably 99% black. Private. That's not new for Shedeur. Staying late, going early, working out. He worked out wherever he can. He the only player that probably had a football in his hand on draft day if you go look at the photos. I was looking at a photo of him with the Browns. He was just standing somewhere with just a football. He's that guy. Some of the best always had a basketball in their head. Shedeur always got a football. And that's who they want to tear down. And it has nothing to do with his father. And now you see that he is the best on the field. Coach Prime is not out there throwing footballs. Shedeur is his own man and been his own man. So that tells you the draft was not about Coach Prime because they still holding him back. Do you see Coach Prime? Coach Prime is in Boulder getting his roster together because he got a fight on his hand again. After ending the season ranked, they got CU down 48 at number 48. Meanwhile, Georgia Tech is out here getting championship rings for a 7-4 season or something ridiculous like that. And I'm mad because they cute, but they coming in with some type of respect. They got rings because they beat Miami and Florida State. If Colorado was to get rings for going 9-4, you already know. In fact, somebody go look at their rings and see how nice they are. Let's get some. Because if we go to the Big 12, I'm gonna need some rings. Give them, we just get there and don't win. She got rings and they didn't even get to the playoffs. Need some rings for CU. They because Shedeur and Travis's jersey was retired. They would have been fine if Travis's was retired. They don't want Shedeur jersey to be retired. Why? Because they snubbed him in the Heisman. And that's obvious. It's obvious. He deserved that because he put in work. In a very short amount of time, Shedeur can make a difference. That's success. That's a winner in any industry. Somebody that can come in, be a leader, get it done, inspire others, make the team better. Any industry, you rise to the top if it's based on fairness. When you out here just trying to hold people back and they daddy not nowhere around, this ain't about this daddy. This is about what I said it's about, and I want somebody to prove me wrong. In 2024, there were 15 black QBs that started the season. That was in August. They knew before they even got to August that was the case. In 2025, 3 black elite QBs, 2 in the first round for certain, Shedeur and Cam, without a doubt. Only because they assassinated Muro's character at Alabama. They tried to get Shedeur, but it didn't work. So Cam went at 16. This for people that are new. Cam went at 16. 32 divided by 2 into half is what? Okay, 16. Now remember, Tennessee wanted to trade that pick, but then they decided to keep it for the reasons that what people say when I said that was racist, what they did to Shedeur. They trying to keep QB1, keep him away from the majority, making it the majority. Shedeur is 17. Milroe's 18. 32 divided by 2 makes it half. Shedeur Sanders going number 2 to Cleveland overall. First year starter, first round QB makes it 17. Meaning that in the 2025 draft, it was always going to be the case since last year that the elite black QB is going in the first round. For the first time in history in the NFL, black QBs, the starters, will be the majority on 32 NFL teams, which means when you turn on your TV, you're going to see Shedeur versus Bryce Young, Shedeur versus Jalen Hurts, Shedeur versus Lamar Jackson, Shedeur versus Cam Ward. If they play Seattle, Shedeur versus Milroe. If they play Green Bay, Shedeur versus Malik Willis or Jordan Love. If Shedeur versus Russ. If Russ was still in Pittsburgh, Shedeur versus Russ. If they play the Giants, Shedeur versus Russ. That's why Shedeur didn't get first team reps. Just like Milroe going number 18 in the draft and being a QB1. Michael Vick with a 4.37? Oh, hell. You're going to see him every Sunday. Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. Because I know the numbers. I knew this last year. So did they. They added Charles Woodson last year, rushed him through the process at the Vegas Super Bowl. Because they knew what? In January or February. What was going down in August. See, the numbers changed 4 times between 2024 and 2020. So they knew. And there were a lot of reporters more that spent more time talking about how the numbers of black QBs have fallen, but they kept going back up. This was the year. Once that list came out, the top 10 with Shedeur and Cam on the top 10. That's the two. And then all they had to plug and play, figure out who was going where. And what story am I going to use? I don't have no story about Cam. Yeah, his daddy. That ain't going to stick. What I'm going to say? I mean, I guess they could have said what they tried to say about Caleb Williams' daddy, because they ain't like him either. Caleb Williams got sacked 68 times after he tried to circumvent the CBA and go to another league other than the NFL, who is reported to have told him, we're going to draft you anyway. Remember, Caleb Williams' daddy wanted him to go back to USC, and they talking about they're going to mess with his draft stock if he ever show up. He got sacked 68 times after going number 1. People were already asking, so how many times Shedeur going to get sacked? Because excessive sacks against these young black QBs, going back a few years, look at the top 3 to be sacked excessively. First year starters, Heisman winners, yada, yada, yada. Prove me wrong. If you don't agree, prove me wrong, because I know I'm right. Everything lines up. See, I love a good timeline. And the fact that they didn't even discuss that historic fact taking place in this draft at all tells you that they all knew. And guess what? The NFL got his way. Pushing Shedeur down to number 5. What do you hear them sticking to? The script. He was drafted in the 5th round. Ain't no point in him getting no first team reps. Nope. See, they want to stick to the round. They don't want to look at the talent. That's why he was locked in the first round. Because if you go in the first round as a QB, you start hands down. So they changing the rules. Now Cam got to compete with Will Levis, who shouldn't be on the damn roster. How many times he gonna get to fail? But Justin Fields got to hurry up and produce in the Jets, and so does the new coach for the Jets. Hell no. People saying the NFL need to get over NIL, trying to make sure these guys don't have endorsements while they're in the league. So basically, they come into the door with money, but I'm supposed to leave all my endorsements behind because the NFL wants to. If you don't get endorsements from the league, you don't get to get endorsements. So they want to be the one that allow you to get a Jordan deal. You can't just get Jordan; just can't come to you. They got to know about it. What the hell is that? Hopefully, that don't exist no more. That's extreme control. We make you. We break you. Like they're trying to do Shedeur by positioning him as the 4th-string QB or not on the depth chart. Oh, he got to try to make the team. Is he good enough to make the roster? And he the best one out there. And he still don't get first team reps. So it shows you the draft was not about Coach Prime. What happened? It also shows you that in 2023, how did they treat the 3 black QBs they had? Making them rotate. Even if they win consecutive games, they still got to let somebody else start. Why? They ain't do that to nobody else. I told y'all, Shedeur being in Cleveland was going to expose a lot. I said, it ain't no coincidence Deshaun Watson down there. I'm like, because his contract is still a mystery. How on earth he get a $240 million contract and they fought tooth and nail for years. Russell Wilson, Lamar Jackson, and Kyler Murray from having the same fully guaranteed contract. And hell, they got the numbers. At least Russ and Lamar does. And they colluded against Lamar when it was free agency. Oh, they're like, we don't need no quarterbacks. They did the same thing with Terrell Pryor, which is how he ended up being a wide receiver. And what they did in 2023 in Cleveland is exactly what they did to Joe Gilliam in Pittsburgh. Joe Gilliam won outright. See, this not new. Joe Gilliam won outright in camp, the starting QB job, and his record was a winning record. I think he was 6-0. Guess what? They snatched it and gave it to Terry Bradshaw, who didn't earn it because that's what they wanted to do, because that's their preference. So what you see happening with Shedeur is exactly what's happening in Shedeur in Cleveland has already happened. Except for when Joe Gilliam was a QB. You let that happen right now. In fact, that is what's happening right now. And you hear how people are up in arms about it. See, they didn't have social media back then. They didn't have camera phones. See, it was whatever they told us is what it was. That's why they still trying to do it that way. We don't care what you tell us. We can see for ourselves. People like, why do you hide them? Because they want to hide behind the excuse. We can't let him start because he didn't run with the ones. We don't know what he gonna do. Just like they hide behind that BSery. He a 4-string QB, so no, we're not gonna let him take the reps. We're gonna let Pickett and Dylan Gabriel take most of the reps because they was drafted first. See, that's what they want to hide behind. The order in which you're drafted. That has nothing to do with your skill set. Who just won the Super Bowl? Jalen Milroe. This is second time in 5 years. It's also the second time 2 black QBs have faced off each other in the Super Bowl. And last year, 2024, was supposed to be the year. Well, actually, it wasn't supposed to be the year, but it looked like it was going to end up being the year that 4 quarterbacks vie for the Super Bowl between the AFC and the NFC and the random divisions that they come out of. Yeah. And then suddenly somebody couldn't hold on to the ball. And when people ask, are y'all going to get rid of him? They're like, nope, we're not making no changes. We are already looking at draft tape. And Baltimore went through all that trouble to get all these new people for Lamar Jackson to pair with, throw to, hand the ball off to Derrick Henry. And who did they give the ball to at the most critical moment after the person had failed multiple times before halftime? What happened to Shedeur in the draft, you should now see has absolutely nothing to do with Coach Prime because he's not in Cleveland. He in Boulder. You ain't see him around there. The only person who even mentioned Coach Prime, we haven't seen her since. Nobody out here being interviewed. Nobody's asking about their mamas and daddies. So why was that lady asking about Shedeur? So we have not seen her since. It looked like they moved her somewhere else and reassigned her. Perfect. Now maybe we can get on with the game of football when they come back from practice. Come back to training. Maybe they're gonna stop fighting the inevitable. They fans, because that's what you're fighting right now. You fighting your fans because your fans know. Your fans know. Oh, he good. It's time to talk about the reality of Shedeur rather than what they told you he was in the draft. That's facts. Let's see if they do it. And for those who say I'm wrong about playing keep away the NFL itself, that Cleveland is a part of 32 franchises belonging to the league itself, is playing keep away with Shedeur Sanders at the QB1 position, meaning they don't want him to start, which is why you did not see him get first team reps. Prove me wrong. 16, 17, and 18. If they put him with the ones, somebody got some explaining to do and some money to cough up. Good day, Blue Moon. Watching Arizona. Thank you. I hope Arizona's treating you right. I know the weather's might be nice. I'm assuming the weather's nice. Trust me, if they put Dylan or Pickett in front of Shedeur, the fans have made it clear that they will not stand for it. Right. I'm like, we're about to see a Target 2.0. And I just want to remind people that just need to know. Target's revenue is $107 billion. Billion. Okay. The NFL's is 20. You see? You see the difference? Now, y'all know Target CEO already had his salary slashed by 45% due to what? Lost revenue. Due to what? Fans standing up. Against what? So the NFL only make 20 million. So I don't know. I don't know what the hell they thinking, but they did not think this through. They did not think this through. They thought like they always think. Well, we just gonna tell them this. See, that's what they did in the draft. Oh, just gonna tell him Shedeur's elite. What? No, I'm sorry. Go ahead and tell him he entitled Go ahead on and defame him, and they not gonna think nothing when you pick Dart. Like we can't see. That tells you that they are stuck to their old ways. And it also reveals they've been doing this. It is documented. I talked about it multiple times. Prove me wrong. If you think I'm wrong, I'm right here. Prove me wrong. You ain't gonna be able to do it. Hey, Ayaba, how you doing? Welcome, welcome, welcome. 17 to 32. That's it, Rodney. That's it. Shedeur 17 to 32. Anybody that can get to Cleveland, just go on out there and put 17 to 32 on your t-shirt or get your jersey number 17 or make you one, because that's what it is. And that's what they don't want to talk about. That's why they're not talking about. See, that's why the media just skipped over. Well, how the hell did he get to the fifth round? The conversation literally went from he is not a fifth round QB. He's not a fourth string QB. Camp is over. See y'all later. We're gonna be right here when you get back. Oh, yeah, I did see it. T said, you saw what I sent you from 92.3 to Fan. Cleveland, two hosts said, Cleveland podcasters said, a radio show. They will pack Dylan and Pickett's bags for them. Yeah. The fans not playing. They said every damn body else that's a quarterback can go home. Yeah, but Shedeur ain't going nowhere. The NFL is in a pickle because they want to keep up this bull crap about not having the majority of the starting quarterbacks be black. And they don't want it. And if they do it, they don't want it to be the ones they want it to be. They already out here trying to swipe a guy that didn't play 68 yards. I mean, knowing him, he can come out here and ball too. Because I told y'all, any black QB that make it to the NFL after college, after the way Milroe, what he had to go through, Keelan Russell, what they already try to do to him, that young man is a 5-star, and they benched him because he threw one interception. Has Dylan been benched? Has Pickett been benched? They don't even want to put on that. They threw interceptions. That's crazy. Shedeur the only one that threw an interception. So they trying to say that's why he's back alive. You see? Now we know Shedeur not the only one to throw an interception. We know that. And we know Dylan had balls batted down. Hell, Mason Graham was one. And another thing, Myles Garrett was running towards Dylan Gabriel and had to ease up because they're not supposed to have no contact. I was like, it ain't gonna be long. I'm like, that's crazy. But see, they want to stick to the script. That's what they sticking to. And I'm telling you why you are not ever going to get a rational explanation. All you're gonna get is deflection. Because that is not even you can't even say to nobody and expect to be taken seriously after you say, well, he the only one threw an interception. Look, it's right here on the chart. They're gonna beat you up. You keep playing with these people. Like they not playing. They gonna be right here when you get back, and they got 30 days to stew. So I'm just saying, I'm like, these people don't they have never said, they just say, oh, that don't matter. Oh, that don't matter. Oh, OTAs don't matter. Oh, okay. Then why he don't get first team reps if it don't matter? NFL and the Cleveland Browns appear to be playing keep away with the QB1 position. Prove me wrong. And if somebody want to haul me into a quarter law behind it, oh, I'm gonna prove you right. I'm gonna prove you right. So yes, see, I saw it. They treated Shedeur like Cinderella and Dylan and Kenny Pickett are the ugly stepsisters. Yeah. They don't want to admit it. See, Cleveland is not acting independently. Believe me, they're not acting independently. In my opinion, they being set up, so they need to do what Isaac Newsom did and just do the right thing. To hell with what y'all want to do. I'm going to draft Lamar Jackson. He traded up the side. They didn't want Shedeur in Pittsburgh unless they could confirm that Mike Tomlin was going to sit him at QB2 and they didn't trust it. Why? Because Russ came in as a QB2, ascended to QB1, and took him to the playoffs. That's why Mike Tomlin don't have no power no more. He better write a book when he leave the NFL, unless he got some kind of clause in his contract, but I don't think he does. They scared to let us see him with the ones. I don't know why I could just go watch CU tape. Don't they have it too? Right? It said they're also scared the ones will cling to him. They are. They already showing. Some of them already just saying it. Damn, we could just play with him. I think y'all know who Duke the Scoop is, right? Well, he found a clip where Ocho was telling it. I guess Ocho from Nightcap. They were talking about it on Nightcap, Shannon, Unc, and Ocho. And Ocho telling him the young bulls on the that he talked to, you know, they know he the best one. What we see is what they see. They wrong with him. They're not allowed to. I told y'all, they have Flacco sharing a locker with Jerry Judy, which means they want Flacco to be what? The de facto starter. He's third on the depth chart. But when they started this whole rookie thing and the bets came around, I guess it was involuntary OTAs and Flacco showed up. If you notice, the first set of stats that they admitted existed and got published because rookie minicamp didn't get published. Shedeur was on fire in rookie minicamp. Um, People on X had to go get it and put it out. So when they start having somebody send it out, which is ESPN essentially in Cleveland, they ranked them, and it was the crazy. I said they got them ranked by jersey number. It was Flacco and Shedeur because of the jersey numbers. Then Pickett, then Gable. I was like, now you know damn well you should not be out here ranking people by listing people by their jersey number. So that's what they did first. Then they moved off of that, and but they stayed with that like for a minute, like through the OTAs, like the first set or whatever. And then Ricky Minicamp, when it's obvious what it is, the last one I saw also came from ESPN Cleveland because that's what been putting out that orange and brown, not the one that is in front of you now, but the vertical one. And they got Shedeur as the fourth string QB. Like, okay, that's crazy. So they went away from ranking by jersey numbers to ranking by this perceived uh starter list with Shedeur last. See, I didn't like that. And they might have did it to stir up all kind of conversation. And here's what they're gonna say. Cleveland gonna come out as an organization in the NFL and say what they said in the draft. It's insulting for people to think the media has any weight when the NFL makes decisions. As if we don't know that the NFL is aided and abetted by the media. People have been calling that out too. People been calling that out too. So the media got to ship shape every now and then to make you think they're holding the NFL accountable. So yeah, the guys are the coaches, few of them have been reported, have said, he the best one in my 15 years here. Uh the players, they already know, right? Um the media in Cleveland already know. The fans been new, but the new fans, they now see it, right? So it's just Cleveland and the NFL versus everybody. Good luck with that. Shedeur is a Johnny Unitas winner, right? And they never wanted to talk about that. They were like, he's just not that good. I'm like, so you gonna ignore the fact that he was a Heisman candidate, a top 10. Actually, I think he ended up being a top 5. See, they didn't want his Shedeur on the Heisman stage. Now you see why. Because how hard was it gonna be to push that narrative in the draft? They already didn't talk about the accolades and the things that he had done. They just kept saying he's not that good. He gonna have a culture shock when he go into a real NFL locker room and inside of a building. Then they wanted to go on, we're not giving him anything. He's entitled. See, Cleveland started off wrong. The way Cleveland started off lets you know they was just sticking to the script. What did Andrew Berry say? Yeah, nothing will be given to him. He's gonna have to earn it. That was just them saying he was entitled. And only one team said Shedeur was entitled. The New York Giants. With that old misconnection at the QB position that everybody is falling over themselves for now. And gonna start pointing the fingers and fighting behind. And y'all ain't gonna never find out who the hell that was sitting there with that old Miss sweatshirt on. That's who actually made the prank call. They said it was the DC son. That man is not the DC son. That's somebody else's son. I wonder whose it is. You know what happened to Cinderella in the end, right? Exactly. Thank you, 49er. Thank you so much, 49er Pimpin. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Um, it says Shedeur 94 was rated higher than Dylan 86 in a CFB 25 video game. What? Now that's some information that's news. Who was that? Zylerman. Thank you for that. Zylerman. Okay. K Hayes. I heard they did the same thing to DTR guy. No first team reps. They put him out there to play. No, they set him up. Oh, they set him up big time. See, they wanted. See, I didn't have a chance to study DTR, but I'm gonna have to add him to our list. Um, the interesting thing about that is DTR was drafted in the fifth round. And I told y'all, I have not studied him. I don't know his college experience to know what his talent level was. But we all knew, and even the NFL had Shedeur, first year starter, first round projection. The NFL itself. So when they locked him out, that's when they started and they executed the draft day plan. See, it was a plan all the way through, but it never had to be. Because if the NFL doesn't want quarterbacks like Shedeur Sanders now, why invite him to the combine? Why pre-draft extensively? That's the same question that begs, well, if you knew that you took a big swing and miss with Deshaun Watson, why did you pre-draft extensively with Shedeur and then let everybody know? Because they wanted to reel him in, build him up, and drop it like one of these cranes you see out here working on these buildings. They set him up, and y'all say the owner like him. He the one that made the comment. That's why Shedeur was in such a hostile environment when he got there. And when we saw him do this, we knew he was confident. And now we're starting to see changes in people's behavior and certain people moved out the way. But that ain't enough. That's not enough. There's no rational explanation because what they don't want to say is what? I mean, if it was no big deal, they could just say it because that's what happened to Briscoe back in the early 70s when he was a quarterback for Denver. If you know your NFL QB history and you know who Briscoe is, he balled out for Denver. And the next year, you know what they told him? We don't want you to be our quarterback. They ain't have no reason other than the one that you know that they don't want to say out loud. They just didn't want it. And what did the NFL insider say to Mel Kiper Jr.? The NFL does not want, underline the word want, quarterbacks like Shedeur Sanders now. Circle the word now. 2025 draft. What was getting ready to happen? And the media never talked about it. So you got to go and study to know what's really going on. And they don't think you're going to do that. They think the way it works is the way it's always works. We do what the hell we want to do. And we're going to send the media out there and y'all going to be good with it. That's not the case. So yeah, K Hayes, they did put DTR out there. I said it, I think it was yesterday. We were talking. I said they set him up because for one, I think he played in a few preseason games with this other guy that we never saw. But I was telling y'all how they rotated the three of them. Asked, why did you let DTR start off playing who? Baltimore. But then on the second meeting with Baltimore, they let Deshaun Watson play and Watson won. Why they just didn't let Watson play? You paid him $240 million and you put your rookie out here to play Baltimore. But what do you hear this year? Oh, the schedule is hard up front. Let Flacco start. And I'm like, cool. Because y'all know why I want Flacco to start and anybody else. Drop it in the chat. Maybe for the new people there, you know, y'all enlightening the new people on what we've been talking about. Drop it in the chat as to why I want Flacco to start. I don't care who starts. And understand this. If Flacco plays what he's capable of, which is about 7 to 8 games or less, that's not the majority of the season. So they're gonna have to come back and Pickett gonna have to play. Then Dylan gonna have to play. And we have seen how they play. Or they just gonna go straight to Shedeur after people climb all over them. And then Shedeur gonna end up being a QB1 of record because he would have played 11 games. So he's gonna be a QB1 anyway. You see what just happened. The same thing gonna play out the season, and they're gonna do the same thing because they don't give a damn what nobody thinks. It's about what they want to preserve, and they got away with it in the draft. That's why they still doing it in Cleveland. See, the difference between the draft and what's happening in Cleveland, the draft was like this. It came and went in 3 days. Cleveland gonna be right here when it's time to go to training camp, and people already are on this topic, and they got 30 days to talk about it. So when Cleveland come back, people gonna be all over them about Shedeur. And then if they put Flacco out there and start losing, oh, it's gonna be some people upset. And then they put Dylan out there because they don't want to put Shedeur in front of Dylan. I said that already. I said they do not want Shedeur to outplay Dylan. That's why they let Dylan get with the ones. And what happened with that? And they didn't even put the real stats for them on the interceptions. They want to make Shedeur. Well, he had one interception, so they trying to justify that's why he at the bottom. That's what they're doing to Keelan Russell in Alabama. So I'm telling y'all right now, if y'all got kids, nieces, nephews, or yourself or anybody, and y'all trying to pick a school, you better look at the history on how these black quarterbacks are treated at these schools. And for these guys coming into the league, you better know your NFL history. And if you're a quarterback, it is imperative that you learn the history and the mistreatment of black NFL quarterbacks in the ugly history that is documented, the racism, the discrimination that black NFL QBs face in their careers and in the damn draft, being devalued. You better learn your history. They counting on it that you don't. They were comfortable when black players, some of them couldn't read. They don't want you to wear your hair in locks. So you should wear your hair how you want to wear your hair. Know your history. It's pretty clear he's better than Dylan, but they like Dylan. It's not that they like Dylan. This is about saving face. And this, actually, I don't even think it's about saving face, to be honest. I think it's just, I don't give a damn. What happens? Shedeur can't get to QB1. That's what this is about. That's exactly what this is about. They don't care about Dylan like that. Hell, do they care about Kenny Pickett? And people say they try to trade him. They just got him. They don't want Shedeur at QB1. So yeah, they would rather trade Shedeur and make him start over in Detroit and take a player who's also black. I don't know why the black players got to all be traded for each other. And send him to Cleveland and put him at the back of the list. And they're gonna stand on the fact that he only played 68 yards in 2 games. I know that, and you know that. So why you trading for him? Because you're trying to say Shedeur's on his level. They stick it to the script. Shedeur was a Heisman contender, but he took himself out the race so he wouldn't take any votes for Travis. Facts. Shedeur had the most accurate passing in CFB in 20. Right. And what do we see out here? The same thing. Which means they lied in the draft. Anybody gonna look into it? Has the NFL been fined for what? A data breach of Shedeur Sanders' phone number, which made that prank possible, and it just fell into the hands, the convenient hands of somebody from Ole Miss, that connection that run through the Giants organization at what position? QB. Know your history. That's crazy. You would not draft the most accurate passer in a higher round. Right. Because it's intentional. Shedeur won the Jerry Rice Award at JSU. He sure did. Shedeur has a lot of accolades. He sure did. Because I was looking, I was like, what did he win here, there, whatever? He took his high school to the state championship 3 times. You only in high school for 4 years. 3 times? That does not happen every day. Shedeur won the Black College Football Player of the Year award at JSU in 2022. Yep. All of the falsehoods have been totally exposed. Yep, Ayaba. Shedeur is being who he has always been. Facts. And that's what people are saying. Because, see, here's what they try to do. Man, he is good. Like they just figured that out. So you don't need no scouts then, right? All that pre-draft meeting since the damn Shrine Bowl. And they knew they was going to do this. That's why I said they played Andrew Berry, too. That's why he looked like that. See, Andrew Berry was the only GM, first of all, that they told what the hell to do. And Mike Tomlin was the only coach that they told what to do. Nobody else was told what to do. You know who need to be told what the hell to do? The damn New York Giants. They the only people that need instructions. Them and the damn Saints. And the Titans too. Because the fact that the Titans didn't want Travis, they didn't want Shedeur. Well, they met with Shedeur a lot. But they didn't want Cam. They didn't want Abdul Carter. Well, what the hell? You need everything. But you need a quarterback because they didn't want to part ways with their preference, Will Levis. So now the guy that they just paid $35 million of guaranteed money out of 43 got to compete with the guy that failed last year. That's different. There were people that were upset that the Titans was even trying to sell that pick when they know they needed a quarterback. So they begrudgingly took Cam, like, all right, that's why he out here competing with the guy that failed last year. And that's why he's on camera saying, yeah, I love coming out here and showing them they can't F with me. Go ahead, Cam. That's when, because he know. He now see what kind of environment he's in. The same one Shedeur is in. The same one Caleb Williams was in. The same one Justin Fields was in. The same one Bryce Young was in. The only reason CJ wasn't in that situation is because his coach is black. But they just ripped his damn team to shreds. Just like they forced Russ out of Pittsburgh so Mike Tomlin can't run it back. And they give him all the problematic players. Or if Mike Tomlin call you the player, you might as well hang up on him because they are problematic at wide receiver. Cleveland did not address the wide receivers in the draft. They did not address their O-line in the draft. So I don't give a damn who start. I want to see what that O-line do. They were out at the golf course with him and everything. Facts. That's why I want to see what it do. I said to Amber, I was like, yeah, I was out there at the golf course. I sure did. That was a little clickish. It would surprise me if they just wake up one day on a Friday at 4:30 when y'all getting off from work and all this stuff, and at midnight, Shedeur been traded to Detroit. It wouldn't surprise me the hell at all. Yes, we can still love him very much. Hell yeah, we still rock with JSU. We're not moving from that. I mean, I'm an HBCU grad, so it wasn't hard anyway. But that lives on. That lives on. And even Amazon proved that they have a cute animation with like Coach Prime in the front or in the middle, and then they have Travis and Shedeur on the side planting flags from JSU to Colorado into the NFL. They tricked Shedeur out of his money. They didn't trick Shedeur, they robbed him. They robbed him. And then they dropped him like a hot potato. And now they trying to stick to the script. No, it ain't happening, partner. It ain't happening. Hey, Jerry, how you doing? Thank you, Amber. Thank you, and thank you. All the first team players at Cleveland are saying that Shedeur is the best QB in Cleveland. Training camp, right? Because it's obvious. You can't deny it. See, they try to control the narrative where in the draft because they can. We don't know what's going on in those rooms, but we knew they was lying on Shedeur. We knew they was lying on Shedeur. They set him and his daddy because he was a scapegoat. He's collateral damage. Because is he in Cleveland? Have they let Shedeur run with the ones? This not about Coach Prime. You ain't even heard nothing about Coach Prime other than that lady, and she out the way. They gonna come back to a firestorm. They better get this shit right. They better get this shit right. I'm serious. Already had a post going around that said no Target, no Tesla, no NFL. I don't care. Cleveland better get it together. Cleveland don't make 100 billion. I mean, the NFL don't make 100 billion a year. And when you make 100 billion a year in revenue, and you feel it to the point where you cut your CEO salary, and they give them double-digit millions when they get, you know, that hurt. The NFL don't make that kind of money. Shedeur Sanders has 3 million fans and followers. He got more than that now because they done made him uber famous. 7.3 million watched the draft, and 90% of that was for him, and they know that. Oh, they're gonna be watching him. Yep. And they took the opportunity to strike. That's evil. That's evil. Travis Hunter is holding out. Well, not holding out. Travis Hunter has not signed his contract yet, right? All you hear is Shamar Stewart has not signed his contract. Why they want to make him be the problem? Travis Hunter had signed his contract. So they trying to say Colorado dropped to number 48 or 48 spots. I don't know, whatever it is, out of the rankings, down really, really far because we don't have Travis or we don't have Travis and Shedeur. So Shedeur was that impactful that we're not going to even see the rankings, and only 1.5 teams is coming out of the Big 12 into the 12 team playoff, and they don't expect nothing of Colorado on any side of the ball and quarterback. So was he good or not? Because I know you think all that ain't Travis. So it's not about Coach Prime. He's not this Shedeur not taking first team reps have nothing to do with Coach Prime. What's happening to Shedeur in Cleveland happened to Shedeur in the draft. It's called being held back intentionally. So you don't get where you actually deserve to be at the top. One of the kings of the NFL. QB1. That's crazy. I see Shiloh at Tampa. Let me tell you about that. So Shiloh is balling out, right? So remember we talked about seemingly these endorsements got to come through the league, right? So there was an ad for a music company, and I think it was for headphones or for music. I'm not sure. That means it's not a good ad. But I remember the company's name, Sony, right? So they highlighted the guy that went in the first round from Ohio State, Amike Egbuka. Uh, they highlighted him and they used play from Jackson from Tampa, right? So imagine a scene from Tampa, and they trying to follow Amika, but they got Shiloh. Shiloh was on Amika in the video in the ad. I just want to tell y'all something. The ad was about what I was like, and had he been wearing that 21, everybody would have known it was him. Shiloh would have decimated him if they had on pants. Just like Miles Garrett was about to decimate Dylan Gabriel if this was a real game. Shiloh looked good. I think he's gonna be on the Buck squad. Mind you, he's sitting fourth on the depth chart. So they talking about he could make the practice squad. Now that would be a shame. That that would be a shame. Because if you go look at that Sony ad, it's on X. If you go look at that Sony ad and you wait to the end and you see the guy they trying to highlight, but somebody else stands out and it happens to be Shiloh. And if he was wearing that 21, that's who the ad should be about. They had Shiloh covering him in the ad. Damn good coverage. So agendas is happening. I'm loving that Americans are seeing how U.S. media treats. Yeah. I mean, the media, they want that access to the players, so they do whatever the NFL say. But see, the NFL seems to discount social media, but they starting to learn that they can push a narrative. But the problem is, you got to turn the comments off if you want to say something. Don't have nobody say nothing back, and then people gonna call you out, and they're not gonna look at you no more if they can't engage. That's like me just sitting here talking to y'all for an hour and I let y'all comment. Oh, some people do that. I think that's crazy, but hey, I'll tell people what to do. I think it's engaging for us to exchange insight, information, and it makes it good. So they get chewed up in the comments. If it's Shedeur, that's been him. Shedeur been doing this, and it's true. It's really true. People wanted to see a highlight reel of Shedeur Sanders highlights from OTA's rookie minicamp and mandatory camp. Somebody wants to see that. I bet it looked good. And the ones are looking at this and they just like this. Now we know, right? We should be running with him. 17 to 32. Yep, y'all, but that's it. Ocho got first-hand statements from players saying he's the best QB there. Yeah, he is. They see what we see. Plus, they see extra. But we already know Shedeur. So nobody's surprised. And every CU buck is pro ready. And if Will Shepherd makes the Broncos, he already made it to Tampa. Shedeur Sanders, Colorado, was the only school to have all of its wide receivers in the damn NFL following the draft. I don't care how they got there. To me, that's why they didn't draft Will, because they didn't want to say it out loud. And something happened in Tampa, and now he with Broncos just caught a nice pass from Bo Nix. He might be there. But guess what? They said Cleveland need a wide receiver. Why don't they go get him? They might as well, right? They need a wide receiver. They just said it this morning. Andrew Berry said you got to get a wide receiver. Well, Shepard available. What y'all think about that? if Cleveland goes and get Will Shepherd, they like a deal. He went undrafted, so that's good. What's that? A $3 million contract for 3 years? That's right up his alley, right? Let's see if he go get it. He know he out there, just like I do. Because if I do, they know more than that. Let's see if they get him. I'm serious. They ain't serious. He out here auditioning. He look good. They like a deal. He went undrafted. That's not even $3 million over 3 years. Go get it. They let Restrepo. They let Cam get Restrepo from Miami. Why you think they did that? The chemistry. We watched Shedeur help to develop Will Shepherd, did we? The chemistry is there. We know Will Shepherd can catch. They need a wide receiver. Go get it. People seem to have forgotten about Shedeur, like we weren't watching him lead JSU and CU before his session. Right. And exactly what happened to Shedeur, uh, I guess you could say, when he left JSU and they went to CU, it's the TCU game for me. The negativity surrounding that game, and they won. And Shedeur put up 100 yards. That shows you what he's capable of with an O line. I don't know what his accuracy was that game, but 500 yards was six. He got the nickname Mr. 500. Now maybe he don't get 500 yards in the NFL, but his accuracy is through the damn roof. His accuracy is better than it was at CU. Why? Because he got an O line. That's why I want somebody else to start. I want to see what that O line does. I want to see it consistently perform for somebody else, and I'm looking for the difference when it's Shedeur because I saw who was on the golf course. Yes, I did. And for people that say, I mean, you can't expect them to get that many people to take a dive. Excuse me? Uh, so Caleb Williams sacked 68 times. You think that was an accident after he won the Heisman? Bryce Young sacked how many times after he won the Heisman? Justin Fields, his first year. And y'all, the way they was treating Justin Fields in Chicago, I will always say about the fact that I believe Mike Tomlin rescued him from abuse. How he was treated. CJ Stroud, they got him in his sophomore season. But they gonna get Jada Daniels in their sophomore season. Because they don't want Shedeur to be Jada Daniels. They don't want Shedeur to be CJ Stroud. They don't want Cam to be any one of them either. They don't want Milroe to be any one of those guys. I can use my brain well enough to know everything said in the media is a truth, right? But some people believe it. Some people believe it. I heard this one guy that they had on voicemail. He said, I was with y'all at first about this guy. He said, but everything I've seen is a class act. See, I think they want me and y'all as fans. I hate to say it. I don't think they want us. I think we're in their target demographic. If we were, Shedeur will be out there with the number 2 on, and not this guy that I rarely see. What is the priority? Yup, Tina. It will always be the priority. Get it together, people. Hey, so Dylan knows the playbook but can't make the plays. They say he had a learning curve 2 weeks ago. If it comes out the owners colluded against Shedeur, it may vindicate the black head coach Brian Flores, right? If I'm not mistaken, that's the coach that sued the NFL. Is that how they got to the Rooney Rule, or was that after the Rooney? I think that was after the Rooney Rule. Actually, what's happening to Shedeur highlights that the NFL still badly discriminates against QBs in the draft, and it makes you look at their hiring practice because we saw those green rooms. They were sparse when it came to melanin, and the people that had the melanin was off to the sides. Andrew Berry and Mike Tomlin were only 2 people told what to do. They said Andrew Berry was going to get scammed out of his pick, and Mike Tomlin was told to draft Shedeur and make him QB2 behind Aaron Rodgers because they knew he was going to be drafted out the first. See, they already knew he was going to be locked out the first round. See, they knew the plan, and all you got to do is go back and look at different people talk about it. Like Chase Daniel saying, I think Jackson Dart going to sneak into the first round. You know why he thought that? Because he knew that was the plan. And defaming Shedeur is what they was gonna use to get that done. Because they thought we was gonna be crazy enough. Oh, we didn't care what we thought. They thought must be they fans was gonna be crazy enough to go, yeah, I see why you didn't get Shedeur. He entitled. They wanted them to join in. That's a dog whistle. That's a dog whistle. They wanted people to join in and pile on Shedeur and go, yeah, you don't need to go to the Giants because you're not good. And people did. But their voices could not outweigh the truth. The voices of truth prevailed. The same voices are the ones that lady, Mary Cabot, that she was the one that told Shedeur, you have a fan base. They sure are loud and what did she say? Loud and proud. I was like, okay, interesting choice of words. You see, she gone for now, and the person that is doing the reporting is melanated and doing a fantastic job of being objective. So, see, a problem came down the pipeline and they moved her out the way. So let's see how long before they do the right thing. Somewhere along the line, they better start putting it out there. Yep, we can't wait to get back. You know, we got all the quarterbacks taking running with the ones. Shedeur Sanders. That's how they gonna do it. That they better do it that way. Because if they leave people guessing and they made one false move, it ain't gonna work out. If it comes out the owners colluded, it could prove. Yeah, I think so. He said the Dolphins owner told him to tank and he didn't do it, so he got let go. Oh, I didn't know that was his story, but thank you for that, Rodney. I didn't know it. Collusion is not new in the NFL. That's obvious. NFL does make a lot of money, and each team get 350 million before any ticket sales or concessions. That's facts. However, the NFL itself wants to get to 27 billion. 350 million by 32 people. That's owners. Remember, you got the league, you got the owners, and you got everybody else, right? The leagues doesn't make 200 billion. At one point, they were a 501c3 or a nonprofit. But I think I read they're trying to get to 27 billion by 2027. They're at 20 billion right now. If you sue the NFL, who do you think you're suing? You're suing the league. The league. Everybody else is in the middle. So you got to attack that separately. Shiloh will make the Bucks team. He should. Will Shepard to Cleveland would be good for Shedeur. Good for both of them. But let's see if they do it because they need a wide receiver. See, if they want to start doing the right thing without saying it, go get Will Shepard then. You like a deal, don't you? Gabriel was doing the NFL draft by the Browns owner. He was what? Look at your verbiage, Jerry. He was something about yeah. Let me know what you mean by that. Okay. Hey, Egyptian Queen, how you doing? How you doing? How you doing? Divine said, why is it showing zero hits for interception for Dillon? He threw several. You can assume that either that's intentional or it's a mistake. Either way, I don't give a damn because I already know what I saw, and I don't know who that's for. To be honest, I don't know who that's for. We all saw it for ourselves, right? That's a complete waste of time. To be honest with you, it's a complete waste of time. The one that matters is the one that I'm showing. Because nobody has done this yet except for this chart. Ranked by performance. Best to worst. Nothing else matters if the numbers are there. That's what stats are for. And you don't rank stats by jersey number. You don't rank stats by last name. You don't rank stats by a perceived starting order or what you want to enforce. You rank stats by the performance. Best to worst. That's why Shedeur is shown first. The medium narrative was letting you know what was going to happen in the draft in 2 weeks leading up to the draft. The narrative literally changed each day. Right. And I said 14 days before the draft. It's on Spotify. I also dropped a new episode 4. Shedeur Sanders. And I got this from somebody in the chat. It says there's only 1 2. Because, he went a 12. There's only ONE 2. Because, they do their little thing. So somebody said it yesterday. And I said I was going to name it something else because it's about Shedeur Sanders post-draft landing in Cleveland and what has been transpiring up to yesterday. Go check it out. It's on Spotify. The links are all over the place. I'll put it in the the chat after the comments. It's really good. So if you're on the go, there's 4 episodes to listen to. Somebody said they want to listen to the podcast. It's called Listen Up by What She Said Sports. They said I listen to it when I Twitch stream. I'm like, okay, well, I'll put a new episode out. And I got to do one about Travis getting married. It's 4 episodes, 2 Shedeur, 1 Shannon Sharp, and 1 Travis. So the 5th episode should also be about Travis Hunter now that he's married. So yeah, 14 days before the draft, I asked the question: is there a plot to embarrass Shedeur Sanders in the NFL draft? That was 14 days before the draft because I could see it. Cleveland better get on that right side of history, or that new stadium that was approved will not be reality because they will never be able to pull enough people in the seats. Yeah, so they got their stadium approved. See, that's why they don't care about doing the right thing, and that's why Cleveland is sticking with the script from the draft because they succeeded in the draft. It should have been 16, 17, and 18, or at least 16 to 17 at minimum, first round, but they locked Shedeur out. So it ended up just being 16, and Shedeur was pushed all the way down, and then Milroe was pushed further, but not as far as Shedeur. They moved Shedeur the hell out the way. Because why? You see, and that's why they moved him out the way. And they knew what was going to happen in Cleveland, but they just thought y'all wasn't going to say nothing because, well, he a 4th-string QB. Anybody that interviewed with Shedeur as many times and met with Shedeur as many times as Cleveland did knows exactly who Shedeur is. And both Stefanski and the GM Barry said, yeah, we know exactly who he is. We interviewed him extensively. Do you hear them talking about why they moved away from him? No, because they don't want to answer the question. How the hell did you interview with him extensively when you had Deshaun Watson for the last 2 or 3 years? So, you set him up. You knew you wasn't going to get him. See, that's why they don't talk about those things. That's why they don't talk about the prank. That's why they don't talk about the NFL giving out Shedeur number. That's why they don't talk about the Giants and why all those people still got their jobs. That's why they don't talk about the Ole Miss connection running through the QB position to the New York Giants. Yeah, that's why they don't talk about that either. They don't talk about the guy that made the call. They just want you to think whatever the hell you thought before that they lied and put out. They and the Falcons, when they knew they was the ones that sent out his phone number. They lied and said only 2 people saw his number when 2,000 people saw his number. Just lie after lie after lie. Collusion, collusion, collusion. Defamation, devaluing, denied, draft, bench, destroyed. Over and over and over and over and over. This got to stop, bro. So we shall see. Tuna said that's not going to happen unless 47 intervenes. We shall see. We shall see. I don't think they care about the fans at all. And it's organizations like the Giants and the Browns. They have fans show up to their games, win or lose. Now, some people say they're not Browns fans no more. Some people say they're not Giants fans no more. Apparently, the Giants were already under threat of being fired in the front office if they didn't get this right. And then y'all see what came out about Jackson Dart. So that's going to be interesting over there. And then Cleveland got their own pressures coming from people who said, I was with you at first. But I see this guy here, class act, and now they see a path to winning. And they like, everybody that's a QB, y'all can go home. Shedeur don't go nowhere. So it's going to be interesting to see what Cleveland does when they come back from training camp. All right, y'all, we are hour in, 31 minutes in. It was supposed to be an hour, but hey, I hope, y'all didn't stay too long for lunch. But it's Friday. It's Friday. We'll be back at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the huddle. And at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we are having a members-only live stream. So for everybody else, we'll see y'all at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time if you can join us. If not, we'll see you at 9:30. Members, see you at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for a private live stream, What She Said Sports and members. See y'all later. This was awesome. This was awesome. Excellent engagement. I think that this is a topic that we obviously gonna stay on and we're gonna watch along with talking about some of the others because clearly you can see that there's foul play happening where Shedeur Sanders is concerned in Cleveland, just like in the draft. So if they stick it to the script, we stick it to the plans. All right. We'll see y'all later. Ayaba says Stefanski also said they had a great relationship with the Colorado program. I wonder how it is now. We'll see y'all later. Hopefully they can get Will Shepherd.